Here's an idea. What if every movie took place in the same universe?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Eric Scott.
What up? It's your boy, Rich Mike.
Yo, it's Arman.
Was it the best movie I've ever seen? Yeah, probably.
Thank you, baby.
And this is Across the Movieverse.
Yeah.
Yo, what are we talking about?
What up, bud?
What up, white boys?
We are back.
We're here.
Looking good. Looking like you're just coming back from the big game.
Yeah,
I
man.
love it.
Mhm.
Did you win?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of women's softball lately.
Nice.
That's good. Like a gender swap league of their own. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm so brave.
All the women go to war and the boys have to play sports back home.
Play softball, yeah.
Learn how to read and write.
Exactly. We're wearing short little skirts playing.
Yeah.
Me and
Ooh.
all right, write it down. That's
the
the
Bring
movie.
that back.
Yeah. The woman coach is yelling at us for crying on the field.
Yeah, there's no crying in baseball. Oh, dude, gender swapped league of their own.
Let's do it.
Mark it down. Across the Movieverse, we said it, and everyone is trans. So
So get used to it.
that's Oscar bait.
I'm sure
Oscars
one of the actresses from that movie ended up becoming a man. So I mean, we could if we bring him back to reprise
Rosie O'Donnell's pretty much already there.
Yeah.
his role.
Let's get Rosie O'Donnell's the head coach.
Yeah,
She's
Goldberg.
Dude, there you
She's
go.
the
You get the whole cast of The View. And
Yeah.
John McCain's corpse and his daughter will be there. It's going to be a good crew.
It's going to be a good one, yeah.
All right. Well, we skipped the pleasantries. Welcome to Across the Movieverse, where it's all connected. Episode 30. This is a big milestone. This is the most
Yep.
we've ever committed to anything. I love it.
Yeah. This is the most episodes we've ever done of a podcast.
That is
It's
true.
an honor.
I can't wait for 31.
Yeah.
We broke
then-
our record.
And then 32, it's going to keep climbing.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
was telling my roommate who has been going for runs every day. He's like,
Definitely not cocaine, right?
when do I break when do I break the streak? And that's when I realized you never start a streak.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can never break it.
That's a
Exactly.
good point. Man, so how are things going? What's life like right now?
Good, man.
Arman, you
Yeah.
just got back from a trip, right?
Yeah.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yes. I did mushrooms in Wisconsin with some buddies at a lake house. It was awesome. Good time. It's crazy because they're like kind of back to normal basically. So like we were even sitting down in a diner like eating. It was pretty insane. But yeah, other than that, dude, it was pretty.
Are you sure you were in a diner and it wasn't just the mushrooms? You were somewhere else.
Yeah. I wasn't tripping at the time, but but no, dude, it was awesome, man. I trip balls went basically tubing on a lazy river, fucking just in touch with nature. It was great.
That's good, man.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
How you boys doing?
Everyone's just going to Wisconsin and Chicago, from Chicago, like in order to take advantage of that. There's pretty much
Freedom.
no lockdown there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The playpen's closed in Chicago, I hear.
Is it?
I think that's
Yeah.
That's
Oh
where,
yeah. It has to be, right? I guess basically the lake is shut down.
I've never been, but I've seen a lot of horrors posted about it on Instagram. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah,
Seems
I've
like
never
a place I
been,
wanna be.
Makes me want to go. It's funny because I've never seen a guy like post a picture like in playpen. You know what I mean? It's always girls posting
dude.
pictures that they're there. So
That's because all the
We
dudes
might
are
not-
probably
we
They're
might not
just
be
fat and
welcome.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
because they just got some money in a boat. If I've learned one thing, is women love boats.
And money.
Hmm
And I don't have either. So
I got nothing.
Yeah,
off hot.
It's a status thing.
Yeah, definitely. And
Give me that boat.
what are you up to, young Mike? Anything
Nothing
cool?
much. Went back to work on Friday again. So then starting tomorrow, I got work. I'll be back. Hung out in my buddy's backyard this past weekend or on my
Nice.
rooftop with people. So getting very lax about the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah, man.
Good.
There were
Fuck
so
it,
many
you know.
people outside, and when I was coming home, I drove through downtown, and there was fucking people everywhere. It was nice to see, but it's weird that it's crazy to see fucking people outside.
Right? Yeah. I like I'm around no one right now. I'm still in my 2-week like isolation. I'm starting to get like around my parents a little more, but I'll go for walks like through the cornfields and like just country roads. I have this like 4-mile little like stretch. I'll just go for like 1.5 2-hour walks. And I see
my
one
God.
car the whole time, and I guarantee they all think I have a DUI. Like that's why I'm walking. Like I just don't have a driver's license anymore.
Do you get beat up if you wear a mask?
No, but I bet they make fun of you for it. I haven't really even seen anybody been in public. I am going to like a wedding though. On that wedding I was going to, the reason I'm home, it's happening again, but smaller amount of people at someone's house now. So it'll be
Sweet.
fun.
Yeah, that's cool, man. At least they're like actually getting married, and
Yeah, and they're
doing
not
what they're supposed
sinners
to do.
anymore, you know,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
living in sin.
Yeah.
Dude, I forgot what it's like. It is weird going like back to your parents' house after not living there for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
My little brothers are home right now, and I know they're getting sick and tired of being back in Downers Grove.
Yeah,
For
like,
sure.
I love having the food is great. I'm a big fan, but I forgot having to explain things, you know, like,
Yeah.
like you knock something over in your room and someone's like, what is that? It's like, what? Like if my roommates ever asked me like what my noise was, I'd be like, shut the hell up. Koya, my Croatian 48-year-old roommate.
Shut up, Puts. I'm trying to jerk it, bro.
Yeah.
seriously.
You're ruining this.
What do you think it is?
And me and my dad have been watching movies and stuff, and they've still got cable, Dish Network, and we do a lot of research on IMDb for this podcast. And if you ever go to like Bruce Willis's IMDb page, he's got about 40 to 60 movies that I've never heard of. I've never seen, and I've heard of most movies. And I'm always thinking like, who's watching those movies? And I was like, oh, my dad's watching those movies.
Yeah.
Dads love TNT, USA.
Yeah. Those are like the TNT USA.
NCIS.
Yeah.
Dude, Tom Selleck. It's all.
If there was an NCIS channel,
Oh.
I guarantee my dad still like uses NCIS examples to explain things to me. I'm like, Dad, I haven't seen it, but I do know that this main woman character does die and she comes back. Her name's like Bagoya or something like that.
Dude.
She comes back, and I understand, Dad. I understand that death is a thing, but I understand that people do come back as well. It's like, stop using it. NCIS is. I don't give a shit about what Jethro Gibbs is doing with his kids, Dad.
Dude, my parents asked me if I wanted to watch Titanic with them yesterday, and they were watching it on CBS, so it was with commercials and no nudity. And I'm like, no, I'm not watching Titanic. You're taking away the best part and adding in the worst parts.
Yeah,
I've never seen Titanic, and I don't plan on ever seeing it.
Me and my friend Matt Yarnell, we wore out the tape from rewinding it and back and forth just on the paint me scene.
I lost my virginity to Celine Dion, so I'm pretty sure I got the message.
Nice.
You know it. You know the movie. And
That's basically the movie, is losing your virginity to Celine Dion.
dude, can your parents remember actors' names? Like, I know that's it's like a hack thing. They did it on SNL before, but it's so funny. My dad's trying to think of an actor. We've been calling Jason Statham Jason Strap-on for a week. Like,
Dude, my dad can't even remember my friends who I grew up with since I was like.
My dad can't
4
even remember
years
my
old.
own name. He calls me one my brother's names every goddamn day.
yeah. Well, Arman, I remember I went to your house and I was walking upstairs and your dad's like talking to your mom. He's like, who the hell's staying here? And then he farted and I walked through with a fart and I had to leave.
As you were walking off or in, he was like, who the fuck is staying in my house?
Yeah, and then as I was rounding the corner of the staircase up from their basement, and as he rips a fart in the doorway, and then I had to walk past through the fart. It was really something.
That's my dad, you know.
Yeah, man. And he's like, hey, hope you come back soon.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. So, should we hop on the film?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
This week we watched Demolition Man. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes.
Great movie.
Unbelievable. I forgot that I had seen it, or I'd seen parts of it, until I went through it. It's really something.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but yeah, it's a really strange movie. It's definitely I feel like it was one of those movies where they kind of like were just jerking each other off the whole time. You know what I mean? With all like the shout outs that they do without the movie, which is cool. Like I loved it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wonder how much Taco Bell paid, or like any of those. It ends up going like into the year 2032, which is only 12 years away from right now. But there's no more violence, and all the restaurants are Taco Bell because they bought them out, and then they also all their like oldies songs are just old like commercial jingles. How much were these companies paying, or Taco Bell especially paying, in this movie? You got any trivia on that, Erik?
In some other countries, it's Pizza Hut, like it's dubbed over to Pizza Hut.
What?
Because it's like it was more recognizable in certain other countries than Taco Bell.
Same company,
which
same
makes
owners.
sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
wait, are Pizza Hut and Taco Bell same?
Any place that has that joint restaurant, yeah.
I'm surprised Papa John's and Family Video haven't gone into. You ever know they're always sharing a building?
The last Family Video by my house went out of business.
Damn, dude.
It was a sad day for my entire family. We had a Shiva for it.
Yeah, you convert and then sat in front of the store for a few days.
We watched a bunch of movies. Yeah,
that sounds pretty good.
in her honor.
All right.
I hope you have a Shiva for me.
I haven't had a Family Video in so long. Like the last thing I had was Hollywood Video, and that closed down back when I was like 13 years old.
Every December I buy porn from Family Video for a Christmas gag gift for my buddy, like the past like 10 years.
That's awesome.
That little hidden section back there.
And
so
when you go to pay, are you like, I swear to God, it's not for me. It's a gift. It's a gift for my buddy.
Like the first in high school I was, but now I'm just like, I'm loud and proud, baby.
You should be like, hey, you seen this one? What do you think?
Yeah.
Is this a good one?
I do it. Yeah. I bring my mom to go shopping with me, and then I stop at Family Video and pick up porn as a fuck you. I'm a man.
Slip it in the pile
Mom.
Of videos. Yeah. She's renting like Daddy Daycare and then Black Hog Down.
And Daddy Daycare. Yeah.
Yeah. And Daddy Daycare too, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quick breakdown of the movie. Starts off in what, like 95, 96?
I think
LA,
so. Yeah. In the 90s.
LA is a big hellhole. I believe it starts during the LA race riots. Right after Rodney King got beat up by, who knows, maybe Stallone.
Maybe
that would be a twist.
Yeah, it came out in 93, but for some reason the movie starts in 1996.
There's another thing that this movie predicted as well that I'll get into that blew my mind.
I already know what you're going to talk about, but why not just release the movie at the time that the movie, like,
right,
just 3 years later? What's the point?
Yeah. Well, best part, within 6 minutes, I checked, they say the name of the movie. Love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley Snipes is like the ultimate bad guy in town, and he's got a bus full of hostages, and Stallone is sent. Actually, he's like told not to go in because he is the Demolition Man, and ends up confronting Snipes. They've been chasing for years.
Jumps off a helicopter.
Yes, he does.
Shoots a bunch of freaks. Shoots a bunch of Snipes henchmen, and then captures Wesley Snipes, who plays a man named Simon, which just leads to some of the best lines ever.
Yeah, many Simon Says jokes. So he eventually catches him, but as the building explodes, we are led to believe that the bus full of like 30, 40 people have died. So they arrest Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, and this is just the opening like 5 minutes, but I already had a full page of notes. Like
Right.
The LAPD punishing a policeman for making a mistake.
Yeah.
It had to have come right
happen.
after Rodney King, because they're like, maybe
Ooh.
we should start punishing these fucking people.
I was like, oh, this is unrealistic right here.
Yeah, right.
He turned off his body cam before he beat up Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
In real life, they just gave him a slap on the wrist and then just like handed him some papers. Like, all right, grab a desk, buddy.
early retirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
They end up cryogenically freezing both Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone because they think Sylvester was they think he killed a bunch of hostages, and then Snipes is just a terrible criminal guilty of all these different rape, Grand Theft Auto, any crime you could think of, he's committed it. I never understood cryogenically freezing prisoners, to be honest.
Yeah, they dump him in this like goo, and I thought we were going to see some Stallone hog when
Dude, you see his ball?
pretty close.
I don't think we did, but we definitely saw some of his butthole.
You saw his ball sack. I saw a ball sack. I saw it clear as day.
I mean,
And it was fascinating.
I wrote down, do we see Stallone dong? Question mark. Definitely butthole! Exclamation point.
Yeah, they're dumped in this like goo similar. They're in like the womb. It looked like when they come out of it, like the way in Terminator 2 when they like are zapped into the world. And the idea is they're in this cryogenically frozen, and their brain is also being messed with too to like rehabilitate them over a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Which ultimately doesn't make that much sense, because it's like, I thought the point of like, why even lock him in there for that long?
Yeah,
Because
like
they don't age either.
Yeah, it's like you're sentenced to 36 years. That's how long it's going to take to fix you. But you're only 2 years, so it's only going to take 2 years.
Right.
Why not just do it all at once and then send him back out in society?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I love that eventually they wake him up because Simon Phoenix, Wesley Snipes, he is woken up early to carry out a job for like the head, not the president, but like the head of the world.
36 years later, yeah.
So then they have to wake up Stallone, and
the year 2032 is absolutely wild. They wake Wesley Snipes up. They end up discovering later that he's got all these like instead of uploading like rehabilitation thoughts, they upload him with a bunch of like deadly assassin and explosion and explosive skills.
mm-hmm.
Never comes back into play once. They show this long ass list of like all these professional fucking things.
And the only thing he knows how to do is like kick and
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just a martial artist still.
And then Stallone's Achilles heel that he gets put in his head is that he can like knit pretty well.
Yeah. And he's furious about it.
He's so mad that he made like a nice sweater.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
beautiful.
He made a nice sweater for Sandra Bullock, and he was all like mad about it because it also, I think what they were saying is it made him a little gay.
I think so.
Yeah.
100%.
So 30 years. So this movie is just a little bit later down the line. Only 36 years, and society is completely different. There's no more violence. The cops don't know how to handle anything.
If you swear, you get a fine.
Mm-hmm. There's no smoking. There's no actual fucking. There's no kissing. There's no anything. Dystopian-esque society. But yeah, this guy that brings Wesley Snipes back was the one that is running it. He's trying to kill Dennis Leary, who's another random plot.
Yeah, wild
A
card.
leader of rebels.
Just an
The biggest
American
problem in this society,
man.
he brings a huge mass murderer back from cryogenically being frozen to stop fucking graffiti. Graffiti's the biggest issue in this futuristic society, and he brings back this mass murderer to just stop Dennis Leary from using graffiti bombs.
Everybody dresses like Nathan Lane in The Birdcage. You know, they're just all like fruity and wearing dresses and stuff. And then I think the future that they show in this movie is what Republicans now think that liberals want the future to be.
Yeah,
Where,
right.
like you get a ticket for saying the cuss word. Imagine if you said the N-word, the whole place would explode. I would love Wesley Snipes to say it.
Speaking of
Yeah, right.
exploding N-words, Wesley Snipes' fit in this movie is he's dressed so cool. Every outfit is an inspiration.
Dude, and he's
He,
got yellow hair, one blue eye. That's like it's so awesome.
He inspired Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Did he
That was a
really?
That's like
that
the
was a
biggest
trivia
part
thing.
of trivia of
Yeah,
this
so like
movie.
Dennis Rodman saw this movie. He's like,
awesome.
all right, I'm gonna change my whole life now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a leopard print hairstyle.
Well, so Mike, I think the future telling part that I noticed right away was when they were going through the parole hearings to see, is this what you saw? To see when Simon Phoenix or Wesley Snipes is up for parole, they were going through names, and one of the names was Scott Peterson, the famous murderer of Lacey Peterson, which would happen 10 years after this. So there's no way, no, maybe more. I think it happened like 2009 or something.
Shit.
But like worldwide, shook the world, murdered his wife. Do you think that there was like a time where they were watching this movie together and she was probably like asking a bunch of questions and he's like, I'm going to fucking kill this bitch. You know, like, she's like, what's happening now? Who's that? And he's like, I'm going to fucking kill her.
Yeah. Just straight face with a beer thinking.
It was like this movie was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Scott Peterson watched this movie, couldn't handle the questions. What I was talking about was when Sandra Bullock is filling the newly rejuvenated Sylvester Stallone about the future, they talk about President Schwarzenegger's library. And this was, I believe, before he even ran for governor of California.
It was.
They talked about, she like just made offhand comments. First off, Sandra Bullock, I believe, plays an autistic person in this movie, but we'll get to that, I think, later. But she's like making comments about the congressional library of Schwarzenegger, and they made an amendment to allow for non-U.S. citizens to run for president, and way before any of this came out, or Schwarzenegger came out.
Yeah,
as the governor.
Well,
I love how Stallone and Schwarzenegger had such like a rivalry, like a fun rivalry. You know what I mean? In the '90s, so it's like, oh god damn it, he's fucking
making jabs at each
he's
other.
the president now. God damn it.
Wesley Snipes calls a figure Rambo in this movie.
Dude, yes. So do you think that means that, much like Last Action Hero, that Schwarzenegger is Rambo? Like
gotta be.
Like how Stallone was the Terminator
Oh shit.
in the Last Action Hero?
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. This movie's great.
What's
It's
the cut the ball, stroke the shaft?
Yeah. Dude, that was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
What do you think? So when they first wake Stallone up and he's talking, was something up with his teeth? Like, does he have his teeth he's got like Busey teeth and like he can't talk. Like he couldn't talk anyway, but it seems like his teeth are like falling out. Like he's got dentures.
In the whole movie, or
Yeah, I mean he didn't talk all that much, but like
I don't think he just knows how to talk really. I mean, when he was in I don't think he was as educated. I think he had to like educate himself a little more, because I mean unless it was the character with Rocky Balboa, but like he was a little too much in character to not actually be that kind of slow, I guess, if that makes sense.
That's the beauty of the 90s. They could just write movies with a slow protagonist that is possibly messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
They just let it ride.
At one point, Wesley Snipes runs past an Asian citizen and goes like, "Ching chong, bing bong."
Yeah. He breaks into the old museum to get weapons so he can, because they don't have any weapons in this new society. And then Stallone tracks him down, big old fight scene, destroys the entire museum.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Erik mentioned it, how someone said Demolition Man. I was very unhappy to see his disgruntled white captain in this movie instead of a disgruntled black captain, but we'll get to that later. Calling him Demolition Man, and Stallone like accepts the nickname, or like accepts that he's insane. He just destroys fucking everything. Have some responsibility for yourself, Stallone. He destroys The
whole
building, the
just-
hostages, the
well,
museum, everything he gets his hands on, he fucking destroys.
They're showing a scene. It was a old newsreel footage before they pull Stallone out, and he's carrying a little girl.
Yeah.
And like there's like a whole shopping mall or something that's been demolished, and he's carrying this little girl, and she's like, all this for like one little girl, and the little girl goes like, hey, fuck off, or like, fuck
Yeah.
you,
Fuck off,
lady.
lady.
Yeah.
It's like all this
But-
for a $25,000 fine for a little girl or a
Yeah.
reward for a little girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck you, lady.
I love so eventually it's Sandra Bullock's character, autistic, also is like in love with the past as far as like old pop culture, she like was dying for some action in the field because being a cop is nothing. At one point they even say, like, we're cops, we don't know how to handle that.
Yeah, Rob Schneider, the cop's secretary,
Yeah.
is like one of his only 3 lines in the movie is, we don't know how to handle violence.
Yeah. And eventually, like, there's a love interest plot that goes through with Stallone and Sandra Bullock. And the first time they get together, Stallone had just been talking about how his wife and kids are dead, and he's like can't get his mind
Not
around
even
it.
his daughter. His daughter is never mentioned. I wrote down, is Bullock, is
Yeah.
Sandy his daughter? And
Yes.
then as they were having virtual sex is what we'll get to. I'm thinking, I hope to God that's not his daughter.
It almost, well, for a second I thought it was like Sandra in the thing, but it also was going back to like looking like his wife, and it was going to be like, okay, this is the point where it's like, oh, this is my daughter, and it just never came out. And I'm convinced that that's his daughter. I think he's going to bang his daughter for the rest of his life.
I read that they cut some daughter scenes out. So I hope that it's true,
Yeah.
but
maybe that's another thing they predicted was stepdaughter porn, you know?
Ooh. Well,
describe that virtual sex scene to me, Erik.
So she asks if he so first of all, it's the next scene pretty much. If not the next, it's like one after, where he's talking about how he's like, I don't know what's going on. My wife and kid are dead. And then the next scene, she goes, would you like to have sex? Like very matter of factly. And he goes, oh, yes, and so he's like getting all like pumped up. He's wearing like a cool sleeveless kimono. And,
the long, it's like a sleeveless shirt, but like it's the sleeve like extends a little bit out, like a t-shirt that you cut the things off. So uncool on every single person I've seen. Looks cool as hell on Sylvester Stallone.
Absolutely.
Like poking out pointers. Yeah. All right. And he looks in the mirror and says, "What is this, Halloween?"
She shows up and she's wearing a nice little negligee, which I'm not sure if we're allowed to say anymore. That sounds like a racial slur. And she brings these 2 helmets, and so that's like how they have sex in the future. It's virtual sex. They connect via mind leak, almost like avatars do with their little ponytail penises.
Yeah, right.
And Stallone's skeptical, but he's like, whatever. And they start doing it, and it seems pretty cool. It's like they're into it, and they do these flashes to Stallone's face.
Yeah.
And it's like who went through and was like, this is the frame we're putting in. It had to have been the faces he was making when he was a porn star.
Like they had a reason. I'm assuming this movie was rated R. They had when Stallone was figuring out his house, they had a random flash in of boobies, confirming my theory that just the rated R requires tits. But they don't even do like any hot cuts of him and Sandy Bullock like kissing in the virtual reality. It's just like
zero contact.
It's like pulsing images of maybe her, maybe someone else, but then it's just cutting to Stallone's absolute coming strokes. Like, why are we watching this?
And then he's like weirded out. He wants to do it the old fashioned way. He pulls off the helmet. She's like, what's wrong? And I wrote down the line that he said. He goes, she's like, what do you mean the old fashioned way? He goes, boning, the wild mambo, the hunka chunka.
The hunka.
Like, have you ever heard it called that before?
Heard of boning, but not the hunka chunka.
The hunka chunka.
And then
The
after he
wild
gets all
mambo.
horned up and they take the the virtual reality things off, she like explains to him like all these like AIDS, all these different diseases that society has
AIDS
recovered
too,
from.
fully loaded.
And he's still going after her. He's all fired up. He's like, give me a shot. Give me a shot.
Come on.
If I get AIDS, I get AIDS.
Like maybe do a little research
If he
on
dies.
like MBS, BST, FTI.
Yeah, there's all these like new plagues, new AIDS. And eventually it breaks down to Stallone goes down into the sewers where Dennis Leary's leading his group of resistance fighters, kinda. I mean, they're just kind of like hanging out down there because they don't want to be part of the system, but they're just graffitiing that gets cleaned up immediately via technology. And Stallone starts to like see like, oh, these aren't the bad guys.
They're stealing food. They're not like fucking people over and shit like that. They're just
he wants to protect them from Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, so, probably.
Which leads to the final battle, which takes place back where it all started in the cryogenic frozen area, because Wesley Snipes is going to wake up and has woken up a bunch of like the baddest people he knows to really rain some terror on the town.
He kills the like president of Wesley Snipes kills like the president or whatever of the society,
a ruler or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Good old fight scene. I wrote down at the start when Stallone originally confronts Wesley Snipes at the start. Wesley says, "I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached." I wrote that down and I said, I guarantee Stallone's going to cut off Wesley Snipes' head. And then right before, as they're fighting in the cryogenic facility, which is one of the worst final fight scenes of any movie I've ever seen. It's just Wesley Snipes flipping Stallone around like in a giant crane, and then Stallone just running, but eventually he freezes Snipes, and then Snipes says something like, "You have a good memory," and then I'm like, oh, here it comes, and then Stallone cuts his head off, ends up kissing Sandy B.
Baby.
I wrote down, somebody get me that frozen Snipes head. Like that's got to be a prop somewhere. I bet they had a couple of them.
Man,
that's a prop I want. Yeah, and then there's one cop we forgot to mention. It was Sandy's former partner, and he's like king of the pussies, and eventually starts to side. He sides with Dennis Leary, and at the very end, he's dressed in the full like the sewer people are dressed like Mad Max, like Fury Road type people, and he's like arm in arm with Dennis Leary at the end. Do you think they're like dating? I think they're a couple at the end.
Dennis Leary gives like a big speech about how like he'll run down the street naked and like smoke a cigar. In a non-smoking section. It's like, that's just disrespectful, Dennis Leary. He's like run down the street naked in green Jello if he wants. Because he's very anarchy. Based. He has no like end goal. He just wants to like fuck around. Ben Bratt plays him, the little ex-cop Dennis Leary fuckboy, and he's kissing him on his neck left and right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that Dennis Leary played this part because he's kind of like, he's turned into that, I believe he's kind of turned into that guy on the internet, like hating on like the millennial pussies and like snowflakes or whatever. He's like Republican comedian.
He makes like a Facebook status about like liberals and stuff like that.
Yeah, like he's like turning into his character from Demolition Man. If I'm thinking correctly, it could be.
I mean, not to jump into theories too quickly, but I mean, he's kind of like basically the same character from Rescue Me, just a good old American firefighter. You know, shit goes bad, and then he's like, "Fuck this, dude! I want to smoke cigars and eat rat burgers for the rest of my life."
Ooh. Hell yeah. I want to see a Dennis Rodman biopic played by Wesley Snipes. I think put that up next to gender swapped League of Their Own, and
Wesley Snipes hated his hair in this movie, and it inspired a whole generation, whole 10 hour documentary.
Dude, let's revive Wesley Snipes' career and get a Dennis Rodman documentary going, dude.
Dude, Wesley Snipes is back, baby. He was in
Is he?
Have you seen I think I mentioned this when we did Drop Zone, maybe. Dolomite Is My Name with the Eddie Murphy flick on Netflix.
Oh shit, no, I haven't seen it yet.
Wesley Snipes kills it in that movie. He's great.
Fuck yeah.
I wrote down a few of my favorite lines from the movie. Obviously the Hunka Chunka was in there, but also
a lot of Sandra Bullock's lines, I hope.
Well, I have a story about a Sandra Bullock line, but one was when Stallone was driving the car and he's yelling and he says, "Break now, you Mickey Mouse piece of shit." That one made me smile. And then the computers are all big pussies too, and they tell you like be well after everything, and he goes, "Be well, be fucked." That was like his big line.
The computers are called L7 in this, like L7 Weenie, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Was Sandlot? Did Sandlot come out before this?
No chance.
No.
Maybe, but I can't. This was. Oh, I guess this only came out in like '93, probably right around the time.
I think yeah. So I'm wondering which one got it from what. Like maybe the kids saw Demolition Man. They're like, "Yeah, you guys are a bunch of fucking
L7,
nerds."
Yeah.
L7 weenies.
Futuristic, not violent pussies.
Yeah.
Throughout this movie, I talked about Sandra Bullock being like. We talked like she has her room is all covered in old memorabilia and stuff, and she mixes up a bunch of catchphrases. Like instead of "he met his match," "he matched his meat," or "you really licked his ass," "let's go blow this guy." I came up with a couple catchphrases that I think she could have wrote. Houston, we have a Whitney.
Okay.
Let's paint the town gay. Chip on your salsa. This thing's a piece of snake.
Okay.
A dime, a ridiculous six. And in this future, ridiculous six with Adam Sandler replaced the Dirty Dozen.
Good time for
Egg on my face. That's just a regular catchphrase, but that's Eric's catchphrase when he's coming.
Yeah.
That and don't mind if I goo.
No, that's what.
Don't put all your square eggs in the round basket. Another egg-based one. Don't rock the scrote.
Okay.
Instead of let the lazy dogs lie. What's that one? Let dogs lie.
I don't know.
Let dogs die is mine.
Okay.
Actually, tone every pie, which is one I currently use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't have virtual sex with it. Burst your bubble, boy.
Okay.
By the skin of one's girth. Don't cry over spilled MILF. Through thick and thick.
Like with two C's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leahy, I feel like you were supposed to be born in like the 70s and be a writer in the 80s and 90s for all these actors.
Don't beat around the George W. Bush.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Great job.
That was good.
I love that.
I'm gonna start using some of those. That's funny.
I mean, I used, and I attribute it to you, the toes in every pie. That's a great one.
One more. Instead of speak of the devil, speak of my new dad.
My new dad. You really licked his ass. That was a line my buddies and I would say in like elementary school or middle school because of this movie. And I didn't remember it was from this movie until I watched it again. It really brought a lot back.
Really licked his ass.
Yeah, you really heard him. You really licked his ass. But I was doing a little trivia research, and that the opening scene when they do the demolition of the building, it's actually like that was going to be a building that they were planning to demolish anyway. And MTV held a movie tie-in contest in which the grand prize winner got to press the button to hit the explosion.
Shit.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be such a cool prize.
Yeah. That was actually really cool because you can tell that it's real fire, like that was an actual explosion. And then because like towards the end, I think or some part of the movie, there's another scene where shit gets blown up, obviously because he's Demolition Man, and you can tell it's fake. But that explosion was fucking cool as hell.
Imagine being some kid in the 90s. Now they probably give it to somebody with like cancer or something, some loser. But
a gay trans cancer woman.
Yeah. Yeah, they have all the luck, you know. They now
a man got during his transition got new breasts that had cancer in them. As brave
tough
as
break.
possible.
Yes.
And he's like, well, you know, it's worth it if you get to blow up a building for Demolition Man.
He's not a cancer patient. That's also a trans person. He's a trans cancer patient.
Exactly.
Transer patient.
Transer patient.
Now, that sounds like one of the reindeer.
You gotta cut that. You gotta cut that out. I don't want that in here.
Yeah.
Now,
I take it back.
I was reading
there's
Donner
and Trancer and Vixen.
Well, Prancer's the gay one, probably. If you're gonna.
He's right.
He's running around. Like, God damn it, Prancer. His little asshole lights up instead of his nose.
Hernia the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, man. It's like, you're just following that thing, following his little asshole. There are a ton of, apparently there are a ton of really gory fight scenes that weren't released during Wesley Snipes fighting. And so I'm saying, we got to get a petition going to release the Wesley cut of this movie. I bet it's supposed to be like way more graphic and nuts.
Can't even get him to release his tax returns. You think he's going to release the Wesley cut?
Definitely not. That's where, yeah, dude. He went to jail for a little bit, right? He got cryogenic.
I think for a couple years, longer than you think.
Yeah. Maybe this movie, he wasn't actually like that bad of a guy. He just hadn't paid his taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Stallone went up and blew up the building.
Him and Chris Tucker had a big falling out from Hollywood. Not together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's this running joke throughout the film that when they take a shit, that there's no toilet paper. They just use 3 seashells, and no one knows how it's used. They never even address it. Like, all I'm thinking the whole time, I was like, how on earth would you use a seashell to wipe your butt? And then in the trivia, Sylvester Stallone has stated in interviews that the idea is that you would use 2 of them like chopsticks or to clamp together to pull out the turd, and then the third one is to like scrape the rest of it.
Jesus, that sounds terrible.
Which I think Stallone made up on his own.
No, I think the director said that.
Yeah, it's totally. I get it. It was like a joke, but they just never explain it.
That's like the final line of the movie. He's so after Stallone saves the day and kisses Sandy B, exchanging fluids as they call it throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the only thing I need to know, what about the seashells? I thought he'd say, where's my daughter? Nope. He just needs to know how to shit.
Yeah. And yeah, I think there was a bunch of stuff like that. The new world is pretty nuts, and we're led to believe that at the end of it, it's going to go back into some sort of like neutral territory, I guess.
I guess back to how it used to be, but without as much chaos. I don't know.
Yeah, some like the people from underground are coming up upstairs.
Yeah,
saying hello. Kind of like me right now, I'm actually in my childhood bedroom right now because I didn't tell you guys this. Our basement like flooded.
Oh shit.
And I was like sleeping down there and woke up and there's like 2 inches of water. I'm on the air mattress floating out into the street. Like
yelling Wilson for you.
Yeah, my parents won't help me because they're afraid to touch me for the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It couldn't even wake you up.
Yeah.
No. Heavy sleeper. I'm like, Dad, get out of my wet room. It's like, oh, I pay the bills in this wet house. I'm like, I don't even want to be in this wet family. You just turn into a kid again coming home. It's weird. Man. Oh, speaking of, it's starting to rain right now. Hope it doesn't flood again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, that's a in-ground pool, you know.
Now,
Floods in your
Yeah.
your childhood bedroom as well.
I got a handful of connections and theory ideas. Do you guys have any stuff about the movie you want to dive into before we get into that?
Honestly, the biggest thing that caught my eye was the whole like teasing that Sandra was his daughter, and then just never said anything.
I mean, when I saw the Scott Peterson thing, that really blew my mind. And all
Yeah.
I imagined was like, I've watched movies with women before, and I'm like, I kind of get it, you know?
Yeah. You know.
A couple things. Just I'm looking at my notes. I believe they're talking before Sandy releases Stallone for prison. They're talking like about his stats, and they say he arrested 1,000 criminals in 3 years.
That's one a day.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's what I'm saying.
Stallone contributed to the like prison industrial complex, and like minorities they're all black too.
they're all yeah.
He's racist. He's the reason why there's racial inequality.
Like in this one, in the main guys, so like the president had his assistant, Associate Bob, who everyone would recognize as well. He kind of looks like Varys from Game of Thrones. He's the flamboyant guest, and Dunstan checks in, but
He's Dunstan?
he plays Dunstan's gay brother, Philip. Yes.
Okay.
Philip checks in. Yep. Wanted to mention Dunstan checks in. Wanted to mention 1,000 criminals in 3 years.
Yeah. that was
Seashell
nuts.
toilet. Lay it on me, Frogbert.
I'm going. We kind of mentioned it, but yeah, when they put the tits on the naked lady, it was like a FaceTime sort of thing. Like he was in the wrong room. I wrote this exactly down as well. It's like they were just on set. They're like, hey, we got 2 tits for this movie. They're letting us put 2 in. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Like it didn't need to be there. It wasn't. It revealed nothing other than a couple of nips.
Yeah.
But
this proved my theory right about R-rated movies throwing unnecessary boobies if they don't have them already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first thing I came up with for connection wise is that, well, we already kind of mentioned the sort of like the Last Action Hero universe sort of deal with. There's got to be something with Arnold playing Stallone's characters, since they mentioned Rambo, since Rambo exists. Then I think that they maybe took Lethal Weapon era Mel Gibson, cryogenically froze him, changed his head up a bit, sprinkled in a little anti-Semitism, and then shipped him off to the Thunderdome. And that's like, and now all the poor people are dressed like that in the Mad Max universe, much like the underworld people.
Yeah.
And, I think, yeah, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You're on.
I think we had kind of talked about this. The clear miscongeniality.
Yeah.
Duo. They're cops in miscongeniality. They're cops together in this.
I was gonna say it's kind of like going with the theme of the movie, where this guy is just freezing people, making them who he wants them to be, and then just brings them back. So I have 2 with obviously Sandra Bullock and what's his name, Erik.
Benjamin Bratt.
Benjamin Bratt. He obviously, they were good detectives. Maybe something went wrong, but they were pretty good people. So they was like, you know what, I'm gonna freeze them, manipulate them, and then bring them back on the force to help out. However, because I think that was released in 2000, so like 32 years later. or whatever. And then also Otho. So his name, I forget his name in the movie, but the guy, the flamboyant artist dude who you were just talking about, Leahy. He was also in Beetlejuice.
Associate Bob, yeah.
Yeah, he was also in Beetlejuice, and in Beetlejuice, he was this very like flamboyant, artsy, like talked to the mother, was friends with the mother, and told her like what furniture to buy and shit like that, you know. So I think the guy saw him, like knew who he was, froze him or whatever, and then made him his sidekick, so he wouldn't age, and then made him a sidekick.
Real quickly on that guy as well. During the movie, he is the prime minister's assistant, and then once Wesley Snipes kills the prime minister, whatever, takes on flamboyant associate Bob, and then once Sylvester Stallone kills Wesley Snipes, this man then flips back to Dennis Leary's team. He just released like Jeffrey Dahmer and Scott Peterson from the future and all this shit.
Yeah, and they didn't question it at all.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the miscongeniality thing, either memory wipes or could be maybe their kids. Maybe they popped out a few kids right around 2000, and then they wanted to stay in the Force, and the Force changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
work the beat.
One of the police station is filled with stars like Sandy B, Benjamin Bratt. There's the janitor from Air Bud in there. Rob Schneider's the assistant, and then
one of the Air Force, or I'm sorry, the Navy guys from Under Siege too.
Yeah. And they never play that. That could be one of the Under Siege guys' kids as well. Yeah. The captain is the bald and has his glasses make him look like a crook, and throughout the whole movie I'm thinking this guy's a fucking criminal, and then I didn't realize he must be the warden from Shawshank Redemption's great-grandson, not happy with disorder, also not good at his job.
Yeah.
Right. Those circle glasses and bald
head. Yeah.
Like a villain, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he plays the villain in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he the guy that steals
with hair?
The bird?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Ace Ventura.
He's been thugging his whole life, man.
Dude, I was thinking, since Rob Schneider, he's still kind of like a weasel in this movie, that he's like the grandson or great grandson of the bellhop in Home Alone 2.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All of our movies, we've been doing too many apps. All of our movies are connected.
Yeah,
no, it's perfect. You should see my wall in here. It's my whole basement. It got taken away with the flood, but there's. No, you gotta go back and listen. Now, what do you think about this? I think that weird laser tech, that freeze ray technology, made its way over to Gotham for Mr. Freeze.
Ooh.
And so that Gotham exists in this new, what's it called? San Angeles?
San Angeles.
Yeah, that Gotham exists. That means Metropolis has to exist.
To go back even further,
this is the MCU.
I think they
or DC EU.
They learned how to freeze by taking samples of Sub-Zero and figuring out how to create ice that you can obviously how to freeze people. So and
President Schwarzenegger did it, which means that Stallone might have been Mr. Freeze in this.
Yeah, no, Stallone.
Everybody chill.
Man. Everybody chill.
The prime minister brought him out a couple years earlier to put down a bat-themed threat in Gotham.
Damn.
It brought Stallone back.
Well, he's like, hey man, everybody chill.
when he's telling frozen puns incorrectly.
Hey, what are
you gonna do?
Hey, we'll kill the dinosaurs. The Ice Age.
It's the Ice Age, okay.
Want a hunk of chunka, right?
Yeah. Dude, the hunka chunka. What? The wild mambo, the hunka chunka. I feel like if I said that to a woman, she would have been like, I was thinking about it, but after that, I'm not gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Last one I thought is like, what if they fast forward 40 years from 50 years from where they're at in this, so they had to rebuild the whole government system, the whole world pretty much, and they once again reprogram Stallone into judge, jury, executioner, Judge Dredd on the force,
And Rob Schneider still is a little assistant in Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Little weasel assistant. Yeah. This movie kind of ties it all in together.
This is the best movie ever.
I love how they one thing too that we didn't talk about is I love how they make like the worst crime. They label it kill, death, murder, which means
MDK or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
murder, death, kill.
Murder, death, kill. Yeah, it's like, isn't that kind of like the same thing?
Yeah, when Wesley first breaks out of prison and he's fighting the cops, and Rob Schneider says, like, we're police officers, we don't know how to handle this type of violence. And then, like, police officers are stepping towards Wesley, and he just whoops their asses like they're a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many second graders do you think you guys could take down?
Yeah. And then, how many what?
How many fourth graders you guys think you could take down?
Fourth graders. Well, are
Do I
they
have a
allowed to
weapon?
yell at me verbally? Because I feel like they could
Yeah.
they could break
Just-
me down emotionally.
Just
before they could
physically. Physically.
Physically,
Do I have a weapon or is it just fist only?
I let you loose in the park, and whatever you find, you can use as your weapon.
here's a question: would you rather fight 100 fourth grade size Wesley Snipeses or 100-foot Wesley Snipes fourth grader?
I mean,
They have to.
I'm
have the
dying.
haircut, too.
I'm
They have
dying
to have
regardless.
Yeah.
Do I? And I have a gun with one bullet in it.
Dude,
I don't think I
yourself.
can handle. I don't think I can handle one fourth grade size.
He's a black belt.
They had
Yeah.
to slow
Like,
down
man.
the film. They had to slow down the film because he was punching too fast. The camera couldn't keep up.
Are you saying
That's
are you
true.
messing with- oh, really?
Oh yeah, that's what it said in the trivia, that Wesley Snipes, his punches were so fast that it looks weird on film because it couldn't keep up.
It's so funny watching. The one thing I noticed watching the movie was that like he has it's just the exact. Obviously, it's the same person, but like the same form and like same kicks as in Blade. Just like the whole like long high kicks and then like a quick like shot to the throat or whatever. It was very Blade-esque and it was cool.
I think all martial arts are the same. I know that's a hot take. That's controversial.
Oh, Leahy, don't piss off the MMA world, Leahy, because they are gonna raise their American flags and come at you hard, buddy.
Yeah, or the Chinese. I think they're on the up and up these days. Yeah.
Jackie Chan turned down the role of Wesley Snipes because he didn't want to be seen as a villain.
Oh, they
He didn't want to do blackface.
They gave him a shout out. Remember that? She's like, "Where'd you learn all that? Jackie Chan movies or something like that?"
I would love Wesley Snipes thinking they pitch it to Jackie Chan. He thinks he's playing Wesley Snipes, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't. I couldn't do that."
I can't go blackface and blonde hair. Come on.
Here's a movie: Dennis Rodman biopic starring Jackie Chan as Wesley Snipes. Woo.
I would pay VIP tickets.
I would pay.
Absolutely.
I would pay to have that not be released. And I'm brave because of it.
I'd be the only person in the movie, but whatever.
Dude, yeah, that'd be like it would. Governments would fall if they put out that movie. The riots at the beginning of Demolition Man. That's what would happen if they put that up. God damn, that's good. All right. Well, I'm out of theories, and we're at about an hour. Do you have anything anything else you want to drop in? Any other?
I love I do love I'm a big police fan. the band Police. So I do love that they added the Demolition Man song at the end, even though it wasn't the Police singing it. But it was cool seeing that.
Oh man, I thought they wrote that song just for this movie.
No, that song came out in
They made the movie
early
on this
80s.
song.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe because I would hope so. Because literally, as soon as I heard that song went through my head, I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's dope."
He's like, all right, Demolition Man, the Police. He's like, all right, we're starting somewhere.
Yeah. We got two of the main characters right there.
Yeah, you think
He's known as the Demolition Man throughout the movie, and he knows it himself, and he still just fucking tears up shit.
Doesn't try any sort of like finesse or, it's not tiptoeing around at all.
No.
I like how in the museum fight scene, all the guns are fully loaded too in the museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
makes it realistic.
Yeah.
I drove past an old airplane museum in Wisconsin, like an aviator museum. You think those planes they have like gas in there?
They're ready to go.
Yeah, you could hop in those boys.
They're just waiting for you to take off.
And then I land and start saying, "It's the way of the future. It's the way of the future." Like,
here's an idea.
DiCaprio on Aviator.
Do you think that the old janitor from Air Bud / cop in the future, he didn't want to go to the museum because he heard some stories from his grandfather about working at a museum, and and he knows the dangers that can go down there.
Yeah. Things can come to life, or guns can be fully loaded,
and the museum can change you. It'll keep you young, and it'll make you want to steal shit.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I give, as a movie, I give it 3 out of 5 seashells on like a critic standpoint, but as a should you watch it, 10 out of 10 frozen Wesley Snipes heads. Like
100%.
It's on Hulu. It's free.
I'll agree with Erik. I'll get 3.5 ass licks out of 5. Great movie.
Straight
so much fun.
Straight from the horror's mouth. Watch it.
Yeah, go check it out. You got the time. It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. It's great.
It's really the key to this whole thing. So keep the whole universe.
This is a Wesley Snipes podcast now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in.
I love Wesley Snipes. He's the man.
Snipes cast. All right, cool. Well, release your tax returns, Wesley. Get out of jail. Keep sitting, keep watching, and thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.
Peace out, y'all.